my name is Archita and you are watching the Pharmacopedia. So in this video, I'll be talking about the antimicrobial agents, particularly the beta-lactam antibiotics and specifically the penicillins. So in this video, I'll be discussing about penicillins and its mode of action in detail. Talking about the antimicrobial agents or the antibiotics. So as the name suggests, it is effective against the bacteria. So it is of two types, that is the bacteriostatic and the bactericidal. So what is the difference between the two? So when we are talking about the bacteriostatic, so it acts by inhibiting the growth of the bacteria. It means that the growth of the bacteria is inhibited by the bacteriostatic agents. Talking about the bactericidal, so as the name cidal indicates, it means to kill. Okay, so these are the agents which act by killing the bacteria. So this is about the antimicrobial agents. Talking about the beta-lactam antibiotics. So it is also an antimicrobial agent. So when you're talking about the antimicrobial agent, it consists of penicillin, cephalosporin, carbapenems and the monobactams. You can remember it by PCM. Okay, so whenever the beta-lactam comes into action, there comes the penicillin, cephalosporin, carbapenems and the monobactams. So from where the term beta-lactam come? Okay, so looking at its structure, so it actually consists of the beta-lactam ring. Okay, so what is the beta-lactam ring? So this one is the beta-lactam ring. And beta, so the term beta is there because this nitrogen is attached to the beta carbon relative to the carbonyl group. So from here the beta comes. So this is the beta-lactam ring, and when you are talking about the second ring, so it actually differs for different classes of beta-lactam antibiotics. It means for the penicillin, the second ring is the thiazolidine ring. For the cephalosporin, it is the dihydrothiazine ring. For the monobactams, this ring is absent. As the name indicates mono, that it means that it consists of the single ring. Okay, talking about the mode of action of beta-lactam antibiotics. So all the beta-lactam antibiotics act by inhibiting the cell wall synthesis. Okay, so now we will be discussing about the penicillins. Talking about penicillins, so when you are talking about penicillin, so it's the first antibiotic to be used clinically. It is the first antibiotic to be used clinically in the year 1941. Remember that. And also, whenever the penicillin comes in our mind, there immediately comes the name Alexander Fleming. So Alexander Fleming is the one who is credited for the discovery of the penicillins, and he obtained it from the fungus Penicillium notatum. Okay, so but now at present the penicillin is obtained from the fungus Penicillium chrysogenum. Why so? Because of the higher yielding property of the Penicillium chrysogenum, it is the preferred one. So in today's time, or at present, the penicillin is obtained from the fungus Penicillium chrysogenum due to high yielding property, or you can say that it's the high yielding mutant. Okay, moving ahead to the chemistry of the penicillin. So here it's the structure of penicillins. So it basically consists of the beta-lactam ring. This one is the beta-lactam. This one is the beta-lactam ring. Okay, and the second ring is the thiazolidine ring because it consists of the sulfur. Or you can say that this is the cyclic amide. Why so? Because amide is what? CO, that is C double bond O NH. Okay, so here you can say that the beta-lactam ring is a cyclic amide because amide is in the cyclic structure. Okay, so when you look at its structure, it consists of the carboxylic group. So whenever we are modifying this group, it means that whenever the sodium or the potassium is attached to this carboxylic group, what it actually do is it results in the formation of a salt such as the sodium penicillin G. So now what is its advantage? Its advantage is that it is more stable as compared to the parent one. So also the sodium penicillin G is highly water soluble. Okay, coming to this one. So basically by modifying this R group, okay, by altering this R group, the antibacterial spectrum of activity is also altered. For example, when we are talking about the penicillin G, okay, so it's a natural penicillin. So what happens, it consists of the benzyl group. In the place of R, it is benzyl. And you know that the penicillin G is the acid labile. It means that you cannot give it orally because it is sensitive to the gastric acid. As a result, this penicillin G will deteriorate when you give it orally. So to overcome this problem, or to overcome this thing, the penicillin V was discovered. And what is penicillin V? Penicillin V consists of the phenoxymethyl penicillin. Okay, so phenoxymethyl, in the place of R, we attach the phenoxymethyl group. As a result, this acid labile property of the penicillin G is overcome. Okay, so this is about the chemistry of the penicillins. Now talking about the mode of action of penicillins. So it is very important. So as I've already told you that beta-lactam antibiotics or the penicillin acts by inhibiting the bacterial cell wall synthesis. So what is the function of the cell wall? Cell wall basically is responsible for the shape of the bacteria. It provides the rigidity, mechanical strength, and finally it helps in withstanding the osmotic pressure within the bacteria. Okay. So the cell wall of the bacteria is composed of the peptidoglycan. Okay, so due to the cross-linking of the peptidoglycan, the bacteria cell wall is ultimately formed. Okay, so this peptidoglycan consists of the glycan units, which is the N-acetylmuramic acid and the N-acetylglucosamine. N-acetylmuramic acid and the N-acetylglucosamine. So to this amino sugars, the pentapeptide, this one is the pentapeptide, is attached. As a result, this NAM along with the pentapeptide is termed as PARC nucleotide because PARC identified it. Okay, so to the third peptide, which is the L-lysine, 5-glycine is attached. So it is clear from here that 5-glycine perform the function of the cross-linking. It cross-linked the L-lysine, that is the third peptide, to the D-alanine of the other glycan unit. Okay, so this process occurs in the presence of the transpeptidase enzyme. Remember this one. This is very important and asked in various competitive exams. Okay, so to this whole process occurs in the presence of the enzyme, which is a transpeptidase, or you can transpeptidase. Yes. So what happens is this transpeptidase cleaves of this terminal D-alanine. Okay, it cleaves of the terminal D-alanine, and the energy which has been released is utilized in the cross-linking of the L-lysine to the D-alanine with the help of the 5-glycine. Okay, when we are talking about the mode of action of penicillin, so what penicillin do is, penicillin actually binds to the penicillin binding proteins. Okay, this is basically a protein which is involved in the synthesis of the bacterial cell wall, particularly the transpeptidases. Okay, so the penicillin binds to this penicillin binding proteins and inhibit the transpeptidase enzyme. As a result, there will be no cross-linking between the L-lysine and the D-alanine, and as a result, there will be no cross-linking between the different units of the peptidoglycan. As a result, there will be no formation of the cell wall. So now we'll be looking at that if cell wall is not formed, what actually happens. So with the help of this flow chart, you will be able to understand what actually happens. So as there is no cross-linking between the peptidoglycans or the different glycan units, so there is no formation of the cell wall. As a result, the bacteria remains cell wall deficient. So what happens is, as I've already told you, that cell wall is responsible to withstand the osmotic pressure within the bacteria. So if there is no cell wall, then the hyperosmotic condition develops and the cell swells up and ultimately it bursts. So this is how the penicillin shows its bactericidal activity in the bacteria. Okay. Also, one more thing is that the penicillin's action is limited or restricted to the gram-positive bacteria. Why so? Because in the gram-positive bacteria, there is a thick peptidoglycan layer. Okay. So when we are talking about the gram-negative bacteria, it consists of the alternate peptidoglycan and the lipoprotein layers. So as a result, the penicillin's action is restricted to the gram-positive bacteria. Also, the peptidoglycan is formed in the bacteria only, so it is non-toxic to the humans. Okay, so now talking about the resistance to penicillins, or how the bacteria become resistant to the penicillins. So the first one is the beta-lactamase or the penicillinase enzyme. So this is basically an enzyme which is being produced by the bacteria, and what it does is it cleaves off the bond of the beta-lactam ring, particularly this bond between the carbonyl group and the nitrogen. As a result, the penicillin destroys and the effect of the penicillin on the bacteria is diminished. And this is likely seen with majority of the staphylococci, few strains of E. coli and the Haemophilus influenza. The second one is the altered penicillin binding proteins. So what happens is when the penicillin binding proteins is altered, so the affinity of the penicillin to the penicillin binding proteins decreases. As a result, the penicillin will no longer be able to bind this penicillin binding proteins, and so it will not be able to inhibit the transpeptidase protein. As a result, the cross-linking will occur, and due to the alteration of the penicillin binding proteins, the penicillin will not be able to show or produce its action. And this is likely to be seen with the MRSA, which is methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, so the third one is the altered porine structures. Okay, so this is likely to be seen with the gram-negative bacteria. So what happens is there is a porine protein, there is a pore in the cell wall or the outer membrane of the bacteria, and through which the beta-lactam or particularly the penicillin enters into the bacteria and produces its action. So when the porine protein or the porine structure is altered, so the penicillin will no longer be able to penetrate the outer membrane, and so it will not be able to enter into the bacteria, and so it will not be able to produce its effect. Okay, so this is basically restricted to the gram-negative bacteria. So this is the three ways through which the bacteria develops resistance to the penicillins. So in this video, I have talked about the antimicrobial agents, I have talked about the beta-lactam antibiotics and its structures, and also I have talked about the penicillin, introduction to penicillin, its chemistry and its certain modification, and finally I have talked about the mode of action of penicillins. Okay, so this is all for today, and yes, thank you so much for watching the video. Do hit the like button and subscribe to my channel Pharmacopedia. Also, don't forget to give your reviews in the comment section below, as it is really valuable to me. And yes, share the video to all your friends and in all your groups. And yes, I will be right back with another information or the education video. Till then, take care. Thank you.